Hi everybody and welcome back. I was gonna say to the live stream. I know this is not a live stream, but let me quickly explain. I have a bit of technical issues with the Wi-Fi with my computer, so I want to provide really amazing content for you on a Monday at 7 p.m. and I absolutely love the live streams. I love coming together with you. But as long as we can't do it, I still want to provide the amazing content, and so there will be something that is like the live stream every Monday, 7 p.m. UK time, as long as I can't do the live stream. So stay tuned because I prepared a lot of amazing content for you. But let me introduce myself first. My name is Melanie Josephine and I am an award-winning author, certified life coach and relationship expert. On my channel, I talk about self-growth, spirituality, and how you can attract and keep the relationship of your wildest dreams. On my channel, I want you to learn how to massively up-level your life, and so let's begin. So today, dating apps. I'm really excited for this topic because, to be honest, at first, like when somebody asked me to do this topic, I wasn't excited at all. And only over time, and as I did my research and as I thought about what could I talk about, I talked to friends and their experiences, I started to get more excited about this episode. So today I want you to take away, if you want to use dating apps, how you can do it, what will bring you forward, and if you have like a negative opinion on dating apps, what you can do to change that, to have the best experience that will serve you. Because if you don't like them, you're not gonna like the experience. So let's begin. I want to begin actually with an example from a friend of mine. Everybody's gonna stay anonymous because they asked me they want to be anonymous, and that's fine. But my friend met her husband on Plenty of Fish, which is a website. I don't actually know if it still exists, but that doesn't really matter because I want you to take away that there is something to the story that I want you to take away. So she was on this website for 7 months, and 6 months nothing happened. She went maybe on a couple of dates, but they led nowhere. So then in the 7th month, she realized that there was a feature to figure out where she can like put in her geographics and see the people around her and who's online right now. So she was in London, in Kensington, and so she could see who was around her on this website, available, single, ready to date. And she said to herself, and this is actually very key, she said to herself, oh my gosh, this is exciting. And when you think about it in terms of the model, which is a coaching tool, when you think this is exciting, you feel excited or you feel any kind of positive emotion, then you act from that emotion and then your result will be positive. So if you have a thought about a dating app, like for example, all the guys on this app are sleazy, or all the guys on this app are not going to be committed, then you're going to prove yourself right, because that's what your brain does. You're very smart, but you want to use the brain for you and not against you. But let's continue with the story. So she said to herself, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. And then she looked through who was around her and online, but she did not contact a whole bunch of people, or she did not get excited about a whole bunch of people. She only got excited about one person, the person who's now her husband. And she didn't find him on the first page. She didn't find him on the second page. She actually scrolled down 16 pages until she found him. The reason this is so important to mention is because very often we say that we've tried everything, but when we look at the list of what is everything, it's usually like 2 or 3 things. Or we look at a website and we say, well, I haven't found him, but how much effort have you made? How many pages have you looked at? How many people have you talked to? So I think this is a really, really great example for you to be inspired and to not give up. The second thing I want to say, because when I heard that she was only interested in one person and that's the person she ended up marrying, I think that there is nothing wrong with going on different dates and figuring out who you want to date in the end. But if you are not so sure in the first place who you want to date, and you then go out and just meet a bunch of people and you want them to convince you rather than you already being convinced of what you want and just matching with the person who is a match with your list, going back to my first live stream, that can be very disappointing. I've done that in the past and it didn't work, and only when I realized that I need to focus on what I really want, I can really draw that into my life. And I think that a lot of girls, and this is why I'm mentioning this, think that you need to date various people to find out, or you should have various experiences to find out. But the truth is you don't. All you need to do is find out what you want and then attract that and not get into a relationship with anybody who doesn't match what you're looking for. That's really, it sounds simple. I know it can be hard, but I found my boyfriend when I did exactly that. When I finally stopped thinking about this guy or that guy, or could this work, could that work, when I stopped thinking that and I just focused on what I wanted, and I stopped accepting anything less than that, because it was offered to me, but I would then say no. Whereas in the past, I would be like, well, something is better than nothing. But when I dropped the something is better than nothing attitude, my life changed. My life changed within a couple of weeks, because I decided I won't accept any less than what I am really looking for. And this is the attitude that you need to have if you want to be successful in finding the person, well, the life person, or the person you're going to be committed to for a couple of years. But basically when you want to be committed and not casual anymore. Now I want to talk a little bit about the different platforms, but I think I'm not going to mention them by name because I'm not going to advertise for any of them. What I want to do, so obviously there are different dating apps, then there's like different websites, there are platforms you pay for, and then there's platforms you don't pay for. Obviously you need to decide for yourself. You need to ask your inner guidance which platform is the right platform for you. But that being said, if you know that one app is very well known for being a hookup platform and that's not what you want to attract, then simply use your common sense and stay away from it. There are various apps who are like having people who want to be committed and have like I don't know, I don't want to say like a better quality because we're talking about a human being and that sounds odd, but I'm mentioning this because when I did my research, I also spoke to various people, various girls, and what I came across is that some people just simply generalize dating apps as bad, or like there's only bad people on it. But if you do that, you're the one who's being negative. You're the one who's already expecting a negative experience. And what do you think you're going to attract when you expect a negative experience? If you expect that, then actually, no, don't go on a dating site, because that's just what you're going to prove yourself right. If you have a negative idea of dating sites, but you want to use a dating site as a tool, which ultimately is what it is. It's a tool. It's not good or bad. It is simply there to serve you, and you need to take control of it, just like you need to take control of your mind if your mind's telling you that everyone on a dating app is bad. So what you need to do, and this is only if you want to use a dating app, but you probably wouldn't watch this live stream if you didn't. So if you want to use this amazing tool, what I actually suggest is to create a relationship with that tool even before you start using it. Now you might think, what do you mean, Melanie? What the heck are you talking about? Well, just like in the previous live stream where I talked about creating a relationship with money, which is ultimately also a tool, if you feel positive feelings towards that tool, what do you think is going to happen? You're much more likely to attract somebody who you want in your life with that tool because you appreciate it, because you're showing that tool love, and because you're changing your mindset towards that tool. So if you have a negative mindset toward dating apps, I would say spend a couple of weeks choosing positive thoughts about dating sites, and you can prove yourself right by thinking about who in your circle of friends met through a site and it was a success. Any information you can find on the web that is positive, or a YouTube channel that talks positively about dating app experiences. Anything you can find to change your relationship, because if you don't, you're just gonna go on there and prove what you have previously believed right, because that is simply what our brains do. We create, like, we have a lot of thoughts that create one belief, and then when we form one belief, we want to prove ourselves right. Like, we can always prove ourselves right, whatever we pick, really. Like, you can always find evidence for you being right, but you want to be careful and think about what serves me. So yes, so I think there's nothing wrong with using an app where you don't pay, but maybe you want to consider a site where you pay. Why would you do that? If you pay, you show the universe even more that you are serious about this. You are willing to invest money, energy towards what you want. And sometimes those websites give you a better option of matching. What I mean by that is that some of these websites will ask you a whole bunch of questions and then match you accordingly to the person who would be a good match for you. So that could take energy and time. You can save yourself, like, you're investing that money, but you're saving yourself time and energy going through all these people that are not for you. Because ultimately, a lot of the free apps don't do that for you. That's not a service that they provide. So you kind of have to navigate yourself through there to match with the person who's really right for you. Whereas if you invest a little bit of money, you get that service where you can put in what you want. And remember, always remind yourself, you only need or want that one person. You don't need 10 guys, you need 5 guys, you just need one. So in order to find that one specific person who's a good match for you, make sure you know what you want. And if you want to invest money into a site, then that's up to you, but it might be a good idea. And also, the guys who invest money in those websites, they're also showing the universe that they're committed, that they're not just out for a fling or something casual. They really are looking for that long-term commitment. And then also, there are sites who will support your belief system, like whether you're religious, whether you're spiritual, Look out for those. If this is something that's really important to you, that your partner shares the same belief system, then have a look what websites or apps support that, and then go with that. And you can already see as you're listening to me that these tools are really here to serve you. In the past, we didn't have these tools. In the past, you couldn't just Google somebody with your same belief system. It was different. Then I want to mention, even though this video live stream episode is all about dating apps, I want to say that you could potentially meet your partner anywhere, and just because you're using a dating app, I think you should be open to meeting your partner anywhere. Just like in the previous live stream where I was talking about money, I was saying, like, one of the affirmations I was reading out loud was, I attract money through expected and unexpected channels. One of your affirmations could be, I can attract my partner through expected or unexpected channels. Just leave that door open. Like, yes, you can meet your partner through a sign, but you could also meet your partner at the bakery or at the train station, or somebody introduces you to him. And I just want you to be open for the universe to be able to deliver that person to you. And also, if you meditate from a receiving energy. What does that mean? I mean, just don't think about too much what that means. Just say, I'm ready to receive. I'm ready to allow that partner into my life. I'm ready to be treated with kindness and love and respect, if that's what you want. I'm ready for love. I'm ready for caring for somebody else. Because ultimately, being in a relationship means caring for a person, not just caring for yourself. Yes, caring for yourself too, but it is about loving somebody else. I mean, you're only going to feel the love that you give, not the love that the other person gives to you. Although I do believe that to a degree you do, because even though energy, we don't see it, but we can feel it. But for the most part, the energy of love that you create in your own heart is the most powerful energy that you'll feel and that you'll create. And from there, you'll create so much more. I just wanted to throw that in there because one time I went to a workshop and I introduced myself as a love life coach. And in the break, lots of girls came to me and asked me lots of questions. And one of the things that was kind of funny, somebody said to me, well, where is somebody supposed to meet someone? Well, as if there's like one corner in the street where you're gonna meet all these guys. No, it's not just one address. It's like, it could be anywhere, absolutely anywhere. Now I want to talk a little bit about your profile. So you may know some of these things and some of the things you may not know. When I watch videos like this, I always look to take at least one thing away, and usually you take more than one thing away. But some of the things I'm going to mention, you may know, and other things may be new to you. So when you create a profile, make sure you're very specific. On the paid side, as I said, I think they're going to ask you a lot of questions, so you have to be specific. But if you use a site where you don't pay, they're probably not going to force you to be as specific, but you want to be. Because the more specific you are, the better. It's similar to when you apply for a job. The more specific you are, the better the company can tell whether you're a good match for them. And it's the same here. If you are specific and you show yourself really authentically, then the person who's reading that can much easier tell whether you're a good match for them or not. And that way you save yourself time. I was gonna say money, but so you want to be really specific and think about what do you want to share about yourself, which stories do you want to share about yourself, and yeah, create just a really high value profile about yourself, a couple of different pictures of yourself. Make sure that Maybe have one headshot, have 2 other photos where you show yourself the way that you are. Like, for example, if you're an outdoorsy person, show yourself in the mountains, or if you have a pet, show yourself with a dog. Just show yourself the way that you really are. Like, put your best foot forward, but don't show yourself in a way that's not you. And the same when you look at other people's profiles. How much effort have they put into their profile? How much do they really want a relationship? Don't swipe right for a topless guy if you're looking for a commitment, because he probably isn't. That sort of thing. Just having a look at my notes. Also, if you come into the situation where you've dated a bunch of people, it didn't work out, and you feel really negative about dating, it may be a very good idea to do a dating detox. I've done that in the past, and I would really highly recommend sometimes just to step away and take care of yourself. I mean, always take care of yourself, but if you're in a state of mind where you start thinking really, really negatively about this whole dating thing, it is a sign for you to give yourself a bit of a break. Then one of my friends had some really good advice that I want to share. She said, when you're on a dating app site, whatever, chat with the person various times before you meet, but don't like stay chatting for many months and not meet, because you must have that initial conversation to find out if you are in flow, if this feels good to you, talking to this person, if this could be something. But then you don't want to wait like many months before you meet, because you might create a picture in your mind about this person, and maybe this is not the person that they are. Maybe they're completely different in real life. Obviously right now, if you can't meet them right now, then maybe you want to meet them in like a virtual meeting, in like an online meeting. I know it's not the same, but it's better than just text messaging for many months, because somebody can create a picture of who they are, which they actually aren't. So you don't want to fall into that trap. And then she was saying, be patient. She was also saying, I think, about what I already said about the pictures. Oh, what was really interesting, what she said, is be aware that online somebody can look better or worse in real life. I mean, obviously looks are always subjective, but I've had the same experience. Like one time I swiped right with a guy and he only had one picture and it didn't look great, but then in real life he was like amazing. So just be aware that, yeah, sometimes guys don't really know how to present themselves well online, and the ones who do usually have a lot of girls run after them. So, and then she also said, and I thought that was really interesting, somebody can come across either shy or bold online, but be different in real life. Basically, this goes back to what I've said before. Chat with them for a bit, but then make sure you meet them, because you want to get the right impression of them. And then what I also want to mention is, well, this is an example from myself, but maybe this applies to you. So I used to think that meeting through a dating app is not romantic. And then I brought this forward with my coach, and she was like, well, but what makes something romantic? So that made me think, okay, what makes something romantic? And in the end of the day, what came out through the session was that anything, anywhere can be romantic if you think of it as romantic, because we create our life first and foremost with our thoughts, and our thoughts always trickle down to our results. So if you want to meet somebody through an app but you don't think it's romantic, maybe you want to think it's romantic on purpose. And she was saying, like, what makes it more romantic to meet somebody on the train rather than on an app? Like, it is really comes down to what you think. And that's why I earlier said, do that thought work if you don't feel good about this, because you can feel good about this if you practice different thoughts about apps. Because you can have an experience that goes this way or the other way, and you know this when you look around you, because there are people who've had really amazing experiences through the app, who met their life partner, who are getting married. There is another story. I think I'll briefly mention this because it's so cute. So one of my former flatmates, she met her partner on an app, and I don't know if they're married, but they're definitely engaged. And she saw his profile and she was writing with him, and then she thought, you know what? I don't think this guy's interesting. You know, I'm just gonna delete him or something. And then her computer froze and she couldn't delete him. And she had to shut her computer down and bring it back up. And the site was still, like, his profile was still there. And then they chatted a little bit. And then they met up. And then now they're getting married. Isn't that such a crazy story? Like, the universe interfered and froze the page. I think this is so amazing. So flippin' amazing. And just so amazing. What I'm also going to do is Manifestation Babe has a really amazing story about how she met her husband on an app and she manifested him. So I'm going to link that down below. And then one of the last pieces of advice I got from a friend of mine is that, well, she said, no point putting pressure on yourself. If a date doesn't turn into a relationship, it shouldn't be considered a fail. Give yourself time. And I think, yeah, it's all about your mindset. It's all about having fun with this. Having fun with this, but knowing what you want. So if you haven't seen my 2 live streams, the very first ones that I did about writing your list and really getting clarity on what you want, I'm going to link those down below, because these are very important on your journey. If you don't know what you want, you're just gonna be about, and I know we always hear these stories about people who didn't want a relationship or didn't know what they want, and then they suddenly meet the perfect partner for them. Here's the thing. These people may secretly have known what they want in their subconscious mind, but they didn't, like, portray the story that way, because they're thinking with their conscious mind. If somebody, let's say, there's a girl and she played like Barbie and Ken all her childhood life, and she always visualized her perfect partner then, and then she grows up and she doesn't think about that anymore. And she may tell you, I never thought about what I wanted. But she already had it in her subconscious mind, so she was vibrating that. So she doesn't need to think about that in her conscious mind. But depending on so many factors, and I just don't want to judge you because, I wouldn't judge you, but I also don't want you to feel like being judged. But what I'm trying to say is that there's so many factors who go into how we attract, like our parents' relationship, how, like, our relationship with our parents, our caregivers, our friends, our previous experiences with other relationships, our self-worth. That's why there's a live stream every week, because there's so much that goes into it. So I just want you to be aware, and if you're really serious about attracting the partner that you want to spend the rest of your life with, it is worth doing this work. It is so worth it. So I hope you enjoyed today's live stream. Quickly want to say, if you are looking for a life coach to change your love life forever, contact me, because we can do this together and it's going to be way more fun as if